Hey, what's up? It is the Purple Yeti, back with the Purple Yeti roar. I'm, of course, the Purple Yeti, with my ridiculous moniker. I got my K-State shirt on. K-State did a great job yesterday. Haba, 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 haba. And today I got some Austin Beer Works Heavy Machinery IPA, so let's celebrate. Yes, alright. What are we celebrating? Well, we're celebrating Thanksgiving and the wonderful weekend that was. And we're also celebrating college football and the wonderful weekend that was. Oh, moly. Well, let's just go over all the games if we can. Because it was a magical weekend, and I don't think I could probably stop watching games now for the rest of the year, because this was pretty much it. It had everything. So let's start on Thursday. Hope everybody's Turkey Day was great. Football feedings is a little weird because I just had leftovers, and I won't go into the secrets of my meal, so I'll put links up, but I'm not going to exactly give you instructions for it. But it was delicious, to say, in a non-traditional sense, but you'll see that later. And I didn't watch any. I watched NFL football, but I did not watch any college football. But apparently Texas rolled. Good for them. One more game. They have a slim shot at the Big 12 title. More on that in a second. Friday was a little different. Friday we had a couple games going on. Saw here and there. Nothing really jumped out. Nothing was really that exciting, except maybe the Oregon game. That was pretty entertaining. Man, I don't even remember what happened. It came down to the last. It was the Oregon State game, and it came down to the last second. It was very exciting. Oregon held on a 1-point win. UCF beat South Florida. This rivalry weekend, everything was super close. I haven't seen this many close games in a very long time, especially in this year. It was amazing. LSU beat Arkansas by 4 points. Man, Friday was awesome. And it only really continued Saturday. Saturday started out, we'll get to Kansas State, we'll get to Big 12 in a second. But Saturday, I mean, the only thing that wasn't really a surprise was the way that Florida State rolled all over Florida. But hey, what can you do? I was watching KU, K-State, but there were two other games going on that were just mind-blowing. Duke, North Carolina. Congratulations to Duke. Cheers to you guys. You won your division in the ACC, and you're going to the ACC Championship Game. First time in like forever. They only have like 1 or 2 losses, and it's a pretty amazing job down there. And they beat their rival, North Carolina, by 2 points. Exciting. And then the other game was the game, by name only, really. I won the game yesterday. Michigan and Ohio State. There was no defense allowed at all in that game. They both put up over 40 points. Where's the defense? Who knows? At any rate, the Ohio State Buckeyes hung on barely to win. There's some questionable calls during that game that people were obviously saying, "Oh, it's a screw job. Jim Delaney wants them to go to the BCS, blah blah blah." But it kind of evened out toward the end, and it came down to this thrilling finish. And no, I'm not talking about punches thrown in that game. There's some kids going to be ejected and probably won't be available next weekend. Big implications for Michigan State and Ohio State next weekend in the Big Ten Championship Game. But what I'm talking about is Brady Hoke's decision to go for 2 at the end of the game to win it. You haven't seen it every once in a while, and it's exciting to see it. It's part of why I watch college football. And also, it was kind of a smart thing to do. Ohio State was not being stopped. Michigan hung in there, 30 seconds to go. You go into overtime, it's just going to be a grinding death. They weren't going to stop Ohio State at all. You had to go for a win. You're at home. Rivalry, you got to do it, and that's what he did. They came out on the wrong end, but I give much respect to Brady Hoke, now more so than I did ever before. Good for him. It sucks that you lost, but it was a very exciting game. And it also kind of pins Ohio State in on the national championship game as of now. So, that happened. And then, of course, in the middle of the day, well, let's talk about the evening first. Missouri took care of Texas A&M. It was kind of exciting. They only won by like a touchdown. But, hey, Henry Josie, lightning bolt for a touchdown, and they did it. Missouri is your SEC East champion. Nice to see a Big 12 team in the SEC championship game. Nice to see a Big 12 team get the job done and make it to the championship game. Texas A&M. So, good job for Gary Pinkel and the staff. I guess a lot of injuries last year was really the deal. Usually that's just an excuse, but it was a legitimate reason why they weren't that good last year. But congratulations to those guys. You're on there. You'll be playing next week. What else? Stanford held on to beat Notre Dame by a touchdown. Tommy Reese was throwing interceptions. I swear he was wearing red in the middle of that game. BYU or TCU and Baylor was actually ended up being a very exciting game. But I'll get to the Big 12 here in a second. Actually, let's get to it right now. There was a couple of Big 12 games. I, of course, am talking about Baylor and TCU. Came down to the last second. Casey Pahal and the teams, they fought hard. And, that tip ball interception in the end zone sealed it for Baylor, but Baylor was struggling. They had, multiple turnovers and at least 2 returned for a touchdown yesterday, and they held on to win by 3 points. Baylor's kind of struggling. They're looking like Kansas State last year. They get punched in the mouth, and then they're just kind of struggling toward the end. They got Texas next week. I mentioned Texas earlier. Here's the scenario. Oklahoma State was idle. Oklahoma State's got the driver's seat. If they beat Oklahoma next week in Bedlam, then they will be the outright Big 12 champions. If they lose, then the winner of Baylor and Texas will be the Big 12 champions outright. The best news out of all this is Oklahoma's got to play, and they don't have to do a fake Big 12 championship celebration at the end of it. That's awesome. Oklahoma is mathematically eliminated. Made my weekend amazing. But it's going to be a big weekend. There's championship games and there's championship implications. And the cool thing is if Oklahoma State does choke, then both those teams will know it going into the evening. So, it could parlay into a very nice championship game feel for the evening to kind of compete with the other conferences. But, ultimately what you're going to want is an actual championship game in the Big 12. We'll get into that in the off-season. But it's very exciting that both those games have meaning next week. So, that happened. Iowa State and West Virginia, because rivalries, right? I guess it's rivalry week, and these guys don't have any legitimate rivalries, at least within the conference. Now, Ohio State, of course, has Iowa. I believe West Virginia has like Maryland and Pittsburgh, backyard brawl, that stuff. So they have their rivalries. It just doesn't happen to be a in-conference rivalry, which kind of sucks. So they're throwing these two guys together. That said, West Virginia choke job like no other. Iowa State came back from 17 down, went into 3 overtimes, and then beat West Virginia on the road. Very exciting game. Again, the whole day was just strewn with very exciting and close games. I don't think it'll ever be matched again, at least not this year. Hopefully we'll get this kind of magic maybe once a year. The magic's been used up yesterday, especially. So congrats to Iowa State on winning another game, and West Virginia might be in a little trouble. We'll find out here soon. But with both teams that are new to the conference, they're having some serious growing pains. What does it say? I don't know. We'll get into more of that in off-season as well. Finally, the Sunflower Showdown. That's right. Kansas State ran all over Kansas. It was close for a little bit, but what was it? 5 second-half turnovers for each of the possessions that Kansas had. Pretty much was all you needed to know. There was at times some concern for Kansas State people because Waters was tossing some interceptions and there was a couple fumbles. It's a rivalry game. You're going to expect people to be dull tooth and claw. But I gotta tell you, thanks Jayhawks for handing that victory to us again. That's 5 in a row. Basketball season's starting. You can have your little fluff, foofy stuff. We'll see you next year in Manhattan in Bill Snyder Family Stadium, looking for 6 in a row. You know it's gonna be close, and you know you're gonna fight, even though you guys have Charlie Weiss as your head coach. So, congratulations to Kansas State. Jon Hubert had a career day, over 200 yards rushing. What a great way to send him out his senior year, last time playing in a Big 12 conference game, and he shone really well. Hopefully K-State gets like a Holiday Bowl or something. Maybe Kansas State versus Stanford would be a nice game to watch. It would actually be a very good throwback kind of old school game to watch as well. So that's the Big 12. Last game, and I made this the last game because it really was worth it. It was a once-in-a-lifetime game. It was the Iron Bowl. It was Alabama, and it was Auburn. The team who have won this game usually went on to win an SEC Championship and National Championship the last 4 years. So, big implications. 1 versus 4. It did not disappoint. Where you thought Nick Saban would really have this well coached, in the end, it didn't. If you haven't seen it by now, go look. I'll wait. Come back. Watch the last play. It was amazing confluence of circumstance. Auburn, with 30 seconds to go, came back. With not 30 seconds, Auburn, with like 2 minutes left to go in the game, down 7, runs down the field. Great little run, jump, like pass option that you'd see something either like a Tim Tebow-esque Florida team would, or now like a Bill Snyder team would. You'd see that, and boom, puts points on the board, ties the game up, knotted at 28, exciting game left and right. Missed field goals Alabama had like 3 missed field goals, but the very last one was the worst. They came back, they drove down the field 30, like with a second left to go in the game, kicked the field goal with a different kicker, a redshirt freshman kicker, because the original kicker missed 3 in the game already. Kicked the field goal, 56-yard field goal. The kid didn't have the leg. Kicked it to some guy named Davis. He caught it in the back of the end zone. Auburn ran it back 109 yards for a touchdown into the game. Good night, Irene. See you later. Auburn's in the SEC Championship game. I hate the SEC, but I love really great football games. And I love it when a game like this happens. Little known fact, there's only been 4 times, including last night, that a game has ended with a field goal kick return for a touchdown, or what people on the internet are calling it a kick 6. Well, last night was the first one that actually ended the game, too. This was a once-in-a-lifetime game, and I am so happy I got to see it live. I got to see it happen in person, and it was amazing. I don't think I'll ever see something like this for a long time. I don't think I'll see a weekend like this for a long time, and I was so happy I was able to participate in it. Now I'm telling you guys about it. So, what's coming up? We got some championship games next week. We got the last football feedings. Spoilers, I'm frying a lot of crap. We're going to end out the year with just a fried Addy bonanza. So that's coming. Look out. Get your grease on. Look for this week's football feedings. See what I have for Thanksgiving. Very delicious and tasty. Pick It and Stick It is essentially over. I lost. I suck. But we have championship games we're going to pick. And then we'll start going into bowl season if I'm around. More on that later. But hey, let's just take a moment and just revel in the glory and the wonder that was one of the most special weekends in college football. I will drink to that, and I think you should too. Everybody's come down. Get back to the real world next week. We got some championship games coming. Subscribe up above with the fake. Comment down below even though you won't. And until then, we'll see ya.